Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like, I don't know, it being a Wednesday as opposed to a Tuesday. Talk about that in a second, but the big news of the day, AMD has gotten a third party involved, and a lot of people are saying, ooh, AMD's for sale. Who's going to buy it? We'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, want to let you know this show is brought to you by our friends over at Wirecast. Go over to geekazine.com/Wirecast PC for the PC version, Wirecast Mac for the Mac version. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get into your Geek Smack for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like I smack myself out of a plane and back to the geek bar here. The show was actually supposed to happen yesterday, and I had the setup. I was in the hotel room. I was going to sit down with the iPad. I was going to do a nice laid back Geek Smack, just have a little bit of fun with it. But I I don't know. There's something about Boise, Idaho, and internet connection. That's all I'm saying. When I got to, well, actually, it started off. I left on Monday. I went to Boise, Idaho, to HP to find out about some new printers, including a printer that kind of matches an inkjet printer that actually matches what you would get with a laser printer, and of course the color, price, and being able to print pages per minute and stuff like that. And of course, they're going to put all those videos out. You don't worry. Just check out youtube.com/Geekazine or Geekazine.com, and that will show you where that is. But anyway, so I got on the road and I did a layover in Denver and then over to Boise, Idaho. Sat there for a couple hours, and of course, Denver has free Wi-Fi, which is really nice. Except the only problem is it wasn't working. I tried and I tried and I tried, but I guess they are doing some sort of conversion from their wireless system to Boingo hotspot, which will have free. It'll still be free wireless at least for the time being. So it just wasn't working. And what was worse was my phone wasn't working as well. And I put all my boarding passes. I had them mailed to me, so I couldn't get to my boarding passes, which is not a big deal. I mean, I can always go up to the counter and get a printed boarding pass. But I was getting absolutely no internet connection there. Got to Boise, Idaho, and got to the hotel, and the connection was okay. It kept dropping. It kept saying gateway timeouts. I think what's happening is with their interface, because they get a little login screen. That login screen it was messing up. But the whole point is it was very spotty. The next day we went to HP, and we learned about printers. They set up a wireless internet for us, which did not work half the day. So we got absolutely nothing in internet there. And then when we got back to the hotel, I did half the show, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna have some fun with this. And I got on the internet, and it just crashed. I called their IT department. I said, hey, look, it says gateway timeouts. You got SSL issues here, and they go, oh, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. It never got fixed. So at that point, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I had a couple drinks in me, and I was like, as much as I really like to do this, it would be easier just to do it at home. And so I flew back. Jennifer brought me back here, spent an hour or two kind of on the couch, kind of unwinding. And then, of course, now we're bringing out this show. And the reason why I'm bringing out this show is not because of the fact that I already did the show, all the show notes together. But more to the point is next week there's possible that we won't have a show because of the holiday weekend. Thanksgiving's coming up next Friday, and we might be going out of town for that. So we'll see what happens. There might be a show, there might not be a show. Just watch Geekazine.com, and I'll let you guys know on Twitter over at twitter.com/Geekazine. That's where you can go, twitter.com/Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. And, of course, the hotline is 608-205-4378. Call me on anything that you see here or whatever off on the voicemail. All right. Hey, we do have the Geek Smack survey. You can check that out over at geekazine.com/survey. Couple quick notes here. Of course, by the time you're probably seeing this, the podcast award votes are over because they end on the 15th at about 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, but I'd like to thank everybody that did vote. I know that there's a lot of people that did vote for Day in Tech History and Geekazine. I really appreciate that. Whether we win or not doesn't matter. I do appreciate the fact that there are people out there that are watching the show, and thank you very, very much. And then, of course, let's see. We talk. Oh yeah, CES. CES action is right around the corner, January 8th through the 10th. I'm going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to be doing the live stream just like we did last year. We're going to be doing interviews with companies. We're going to be doing floor interviews. We've got the most independent news coverage of CES that you can think of. I mean, you got CNET there, and you got Engadget there, and you got all the other ones there, and they're getting their news feeds, but they've also got like a whole bunch of guys that are going through brochures, seeing something for the first time, then writing it up. We're actually getting in and talking to the people, talking to the CEOs, talking to the COOs, talking to the products, and finding out what they are. And that's what makes our coverage a lot better. And we're expecting 40 to 50 million viewers this year. Last year we had 30 million views between the live coverage and the post videos that came out afterwards. So we've got a ton of action. You can check it all out. You'll check it out on Geekazine. You can check it out at tpn.tv as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, went a little bit long on that. Let's get into your Tech Smack for this week. All right, and of course, the Tech Smack is brought to you by our friends over at Citrix and GoToMeeting, where, they say, and I say, meetings are essential to the way you work. I meet with people online all the time. I meet with people offline all the time. It's the opportunity to share your ideas. It's the opportunity to problem solve. It's the opportunity to develop creative solutions. And I like to think it's an opportunity to get to know the people that you do business with a lot better. But, if your team is spread out, if your clients are spread out throughout the United States, throughout the world for that matter, coming together can be almost an impossible task. That's why I use GoToMeeting with HD Faces. In fact, if you watch iPad 365 on Monday, I did a how-to on how to actually host a meeting on iPad with GoToMeeting. We'll talk about that in a second. But, GoToMeeting with HD Faces is the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online. We've done it for 4 years. We do roundtables on GoToMeeting. I meet with clients on GoToMeeting. It's never failed me, and that's what I love it. And like I said, now I can host a meeting on the iPad, and that is a world of difference if I'm sitting in a coffee shop and I need to hook up with somebody and say, hey, we need to get this meeting done right here, right now. The built-in HD video conferencing lets you see each other face-to-face so you can see eye to eye and get your problem solved. And of course, you can start a meeting on a Mac, on a PC. You can start a meeting on an iPad. Anybody can join a meeting from a Mac or PC, a smartphone or tablet, and that's the best part about it. And like I said, now you can actually host a meeting on your iPad. Try it. Put it in your business toolbox for 30 days. For this special offer, visit GoToMeeting.com. Click that Try It Free Now button. That's that orange button on the screen, and enter in the promo code podcast. Podcast gets you 30 days of this great software. And of course, it's by Citrix and GoToMeeting. We thank them for being a longtime sponsor of Geek Smack. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get into the show content for the week. Here we are. There we are. Let's start over here at Gizmodo.com. The big news, beginning of the week, John McAfee antivirus, is wanted for murder. There's a lot of updates. There was apparently a kerfuffle that happened last week, and somebody got shot and of course was killed. And the prime suspect is John McAfee, and he has been in hiding ever since. I got a little choked up there because John McAfee. We're just like this. I'm over here, but anyway, hey, it looks kind of like a gun. Anyway, so John McAfee lives in Belize, I guess, and so apparently this happened, and so he's basically on the run until I guess he can try and get some evidence or something. I don't know. I was watching Fox and Friends this morning, and they had a statement on there where John McAfee actually called in and says, I didn't even know that 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 person was shot in the head until you guys told me. So I'm trying to put my stuff together. I will come in when the time is right. So I think he's just waiting for that exact time to present himself, so they can uh, get it done right. And he's got all his ducks in a row. But hiding from the police is not the best idea all the time. So hopefully this will get resolved quick, and maybe we'll see what happens. We'll keep following it as it goes here. So, and if you want to check anything on that, go over to gizmodo.com. Excuse me. Going from high elevation to low elevation, my nose is going to start to decompress, I guess you could say here. So, all right, let's move over. We got a couple articles from All Things D, I believe. Yeah, we got a couple articles here. First of all, it's from Kara Swisher. Basically, Yahoo has redesigned their homepage. They want to create a Gmail-like email system. They want to reboot Yahoo, which we've seen before. And I'm not exactly sure what to make of this, because Yahoo has had their chance. They've kind of dropped the ball several times. I'm not talking once. They've dropped the ball several times. Now, well, of course, with Marissa Mayer in as the CEO, they have a little bit new life to them. They need to get more people into their systems. Maybe even go back to their Yahoo email addresses. I still have a Yahoo email address, believe it or not, and I do have. I guess my Flickr is attached to it, so I do use it, and I do have it on my phone, and I do check it. I kind of delete all the spam messages. I think that's the biggest problem with Yahoo. No matter how many times you tell Yahoo email that these are spam messages, they seem to keep coming back in and spamming you. And I hated and that's why I switched off of Yahoo to actually go to Gmail to begin with. So you get that resolved. You say a spam message is a spam message, and you stop making some money off of these spam messages that are coming through, which I'm guessing that's what's happening. Then we've got something here. But in the meantime, what do you think? Were you on Yahoo? Did you get off of Yahoo because of spam messages, or because of something else? Are you on Gmail now? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, Geekazine at gmail.com. All right, let's move on from there. We're staying on all things digital. We're I heard you heard of it. Of course, you probably heard about this. No new news here, but hey, it's big news to me. Steven Sinofsky is leaving Microsoft now. He was head of the Windows 8 launch, and of course, he's been part of Microsoft team for a while now. And he basically said, "I'm done," and just walked right out. I guess it was kind of he walked out, but he didn't walk out. So Steve Ballmer sent a message to everybody saying, "Hey, we'll restructure and we'll go from there." But it does bring up a big question, because a lot of people don't like Steve Ballmer's rule. They're just, I don't know, they're not liking the way he presents himself. They're not liking the way that he represents the company, and I don't know if there's anything that anybody can do about it. So, but we lost Sinofsky, but this is not news, as in last week with Apple. Now that Apple, the iPad Mini is out, we had Scott Forstall leave, and because of the Maps thing. So people just don't get their way. They're down a path. They're thinking one thing, and somebody throws them a curveball, and they say, I can't deal with that curveball anymore. So they move on. So, and of course, we'll see Steven Sinofsky, and we'll see Scott Forstall in the future, probably in new tech companies. So we'll see what happens. But big names. These are big names in technology that are leaving. So I hope Microsoft will survive. They know how to play the game, and they'll have somebody else taking the reins after that. So, and of course, you can check that out over at All Things D. All right, my friend and soulmate Mark Cuban. No, he's not really my soulmate, but he's a really cool guy. At least that's what I hear. Mark Cuban is really pissed off with with Facebook because of the fact that Facebook is now putting monetization on that. Now, if you don't know what I mean, basically you have your main page, and then you could have created your groups page and stuff like that. Like for instance, Geekazine has a groups page. My band Trailer Kings has a groups page, so on and so forth. Um, when you posted, if people liked your page, when you posted, they saw it on their wall. Well, now that's starting to change because Facebook wants some monetary value. So they say, okay, if you post something on the wall, yeah, your friends that like your page might not see it, and then you got to pay some money for them to see it. So they're kind of, I guess they're kind of hijacking your post. Well, Mark Cuban, who runs the Dallas Mavericks, or owns the Dallas Mavericks, excuse me, he basically said it costs them. They have 1 million fans that like the page, and it'll cost them $3,000 just to send them a message saying something. Hey, come down to the Dallas Mavericks. That's going to be $3,000 right there. Hey, have a piece of cherry pie. That's $3,000 right there. Hey, look at that computer. That's $3,000 right there. Hi, I'm Mark Cuban. That's $3,000 right there. No, that's just there. He doesn't see the return on investment as much, or well, maybe he does. I don't know. But bottom line, he's saying, I don't want to pay this. In fact, he sent out a tweet, not a Facebook post, but a tweet, and he basically say, Facebook is blowing it. This is the first step. The Mavs are considering moving to Tumblr or the new MySpace primary site, and of course he shows off the Mavericks site, which of course probably got him another 500,000 likes to the Facebook page. So I don't know if Facebook is trying to make money because 3-4 months ago we said Facebook needs to make money. I need my share of stock to go up because it's depreciating back there. So I want some more money, and they found a way, and now everybody's complaining about it because it's making money. I don't know. It does fall on the wrong line. I think they're going in the wrong direction, looking for advertising money. But tell me what you think. What should Facebook do to make money? Do you think that Mark Cuban is spot on? Would you pay if you had the Dallas Mavericks? Would you pay $3,000 to send out a Facebook message? Now, for me, if I had 100 followers, there's no way I could pay. It wouldn't be $3,000. It'd be like 30 cents. But if I had a million likes, that's $3,000 right there. And if I don't make $3,000 off of this show, and I have a million Facebook likes, there's no way I'll be able to pay that. So let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, like I said, geekazine@gmail.com. Let's move over to VentureBeat. Facebook is another Facebook app. Basically, they're saying they're not going to create an app for Windows 8. And I just call BS. Now, they're saying this right now. They're saying, oh, no, we're not going to deal with Windows 8. You can call up a web page and do Facebook. But of course, and I'm assuming that's because they've done the integration with Apple and they want to be more friends with Apple. But, Facebook and Microsoft have their bedfellows as well, as Microsoft has given Facebook a lot of money. So this app thing is kind of like a thorn if you think about it. And if you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about, Windows 8 has the Metro, which is this tile thing. In fact, I'll show you right here. It's a list. It's just a bunch of tiles that you can press to get your Netflix, open up your Netflix or your Skype or any other program that you have. And Facebook would be one of them. Well, they basically said they're not making an app for Facebook for Windows 8. So once again, the alternative is you go to their browser and you just open up Facebook and you log in and go from there. So it's not a big deal, but I have a feeling that eventually Facebook they're going to have to do it. Yeah, I mean, Windows is still the primary operating system out there. And once Windows 8 really starts to ramp up and get into more machines, they won't have a choice. Because they'll say, hey, we want an app for Facebook. We want an app for Facebook. Okay, we'll make an app for Facebook. So it's going to eventually happen. But right now they're saying, no, we're not going to do it. So if you want to read more on that, go over to venturebeat.com. Excuse me one second here. Sorry. Like I said, it's decompressing now. So I'm back down below sea level, or above, whatever it is. Denver, Colorado. I'm up in the air. I'm lightheaded. Now I'm grounded. Anyway. Going over to Ars Technica, Apple's Tim Cook has decided to beef up the employee perks, something that Steve Jobs didn't want to do. And he's giving them some different things. Of course, the Wall Street Journal has originally reported on this, that they're giving corporate benefits offered to employees, ability to take sabbaticals, and freedom to work on personal projects. This is to keep retention of these employees, so they can keep focused with making the operating systems better, making the iOS better, and taking Apple to the next level. And I totally agree with it. And for some reason, Steve Jobs was against this. He was against the sabbatical. He was against the giving employees the opportunity to shine. I don't understand that. That's the anti-innovation right there. So, pretty interesting article. If you want to check it out, go over to artstechnica.com. Moving over to the next web. Google declares that the Flash is fully sandboxed. And you're going, what? Here's the article here. Basically, what they're saying is that if you go to Chrome for Windows, for Mac, Linux, and Chrome OS, and you run Flash, Flash will be in its own sandbox. And what that means is if there's any malware that presents itself in Flash, the sandbox mode will catch it and stop it right there. Just like a web page, if you open up Chrome and you go to a web page and the web page has malware on it and it's known, Chrome blocks you from it. It says, hey, you don't want to go here, there's malware on it. Same thing with Flash. They're opening it up in the sandbox, so if there is malware, it doesn't get into your system. And I think that's a good thing, especially since Flash is getting ready to go bye-bye. I know some people are saying, no, it's not going to go bye-bye. It's still got to figure out its way or whatever. I always get, I'm always amazed when I go to a website and it says, you must enable Flash. Of course, I'm reading it on the iPad. You must enable Flash to continue. It's like, man, that's, Flash is done. Flash is done. It's time to move on. And that's my personal opinion. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that we should even worry about Flash? It's a good thing that Chrome's doing this. And I think Firefox should follow, and I think Internet Explorer and Safari should follow that same ideal, that they put it into an enclosure, put the bomb in a walled area, so if it blows apart, it's not going to affect the rest of the house. So, let me know what you think. Geekazine is the Twitter handle. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. All right, a couple more articles, and we'll get you in the Geek Smack area, and then, of course, the main section here. Or the main topic here. AMD, which we will be talking about in a couple seconds, but they have created the first teraflop graphics card. Now, if you're a regular consumer, you're going, well, what the heck's a teraflop? Right, what's a qubit? As Bill Cosby said a long time ago when it was Noah's Ark. Anyway, old Bill Cosby comedy. Whole thing is AMD has launched the Tahiti-based FirePro S10000. This is a graphics card that goes into a server rather than a desktop. And the idea is for a virtualization, being able to run high graphic programs without bogging down the server so everybody can use it, especially in a virtualization environment. And so basically this graphics card, which is like, what was the speed of this? It was super fast, and its cores, it's got total cores of 3584. Its core clock speed is 825 megahertz. Its maximum power is 375 watts, which is pretty good, and it peaks at single precision at 5.91 teraflops, and it's just powerful. So you have multiple uses of people using it at the same time. They won't slow down, they won't bog down, and the computer can go faster. So pretty cool stuff. If you want to check it out, go over to extremetech.com. And of course, finally, last part of the tech section. Congratulations to Dropbox. They passed the 100 million user mark. Of course, you have Dropbox, you have YouSendIt, you have iCloud, you have Amazon, and all these other storage, cloud storage type systems. I have a Dropbox account. You might have a Dropbox account simply because of the fact that somebody sent you something on Dropbox, so you got the free 2 gigabytes, and they keep saying, "Oh, upgrade to the 50 gigabytes for whatever a month," and stuff like that. So, but they're saying 100 million users. It's a great mark. Congratulations to Dropbox, and it actually is a pretty decent program to have for cloud storage if you're doing simple cloud storage. And they've got some third-party applications you can put on to make your Dropbox a little bit different experience, from file sharing to whatever you need it for. So anyway, if you want to read on that, go over to cnet.com. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that does bring us to the end of the first part of the Geek Smack show, the Tech Smack area. We're going to get in your Geek Smack, and we're going to see all the cool stuff. And, of course, we're going to talk about AMD and how are they for sale? Are they? I'd like to buy them. I got $1. We'll talk about that. We'll be right back. I love Zag. Zag is so cool. I mean, they got the invisible shield that you can put over actually your iPad, any tablet or smartphone, and including your computer. Because your computer, you could drop your computer. You could definitely smash the glass on your MacBook Pro or over here the HP, and I could smash this glass. So you want to have protective shield on that, or you have it in an area that gets dirty or something like that. So you want it protection simply to protect it from the dirt. And that's why you check out Zag, because Zag has a whole bunch of cool stuff, from cases to protective screens to protective keyboard covers to whatever you need for your iPad, for your smartphone, for your tablet, for your computer. And they've got a lot of stuff. They've even got this thing called Extreme Invisible Shield, which has drop protection on it. And so it's a little bit thicker, and so if you drop your iPhone, if you drop your tablet, it doesn't break. It has a better chance of not breaking, and there is a little bit of guarantee behind it. You want to check it all out, go over to Zag's website. By doing that, by going over to geekazine.com/Zag, geekazine.com/ZAGG, and of course you can check out all the products. When you check out, use that code Geekazine for 20% off. Doesn't work on all products. But the cool thing is, like, this is the Zag Spark. This is the charging unit that you can use for a tablet or a smartphone. 20% off this. I think it's at $79.99 right now, which makes it $59.99. Awesome deal right there. And that's over at Zag. Remember, geekazine.com/Zag, and I thank you very much for helping me out. All right, let's move on from here. Where are we? We're going to go over to 9 to 5 Mac. All you music geeks out there, all you guitar geeks out there, apparently Fender has come out with a $199 Squire. It's a USB Stratocaster for iOS devices at the Apple Store. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they mean, USB Stratocaster for iOS devices, which means that it's either going to use the Lightning Bolt port or it's going to have the 30-pin connector. I'm not exactly sure. It's $199.95. You can go over to the Apple Store to check it out. And so basically you can now hook up your guitar directly to an iOS device, which is iPhone, iPad, iPod. It's technically not the Mac. So we'll see what happens and go from there. We've got a little video here if you want to check it out. All you guitar geeks out there, it's over at 9to5mac.com. Let's move from there. I found out, I was on Reddit, and this person started talking about, this AI interface that's really, really cool. It's called Cleverbot. And it's like, what? And it's like, I'm checking this out. This is what it is. And basically, you ask it a question, and it gives you an answer. Like, for instance, what is the weather like? And you say, think about it, and then it gives you a response after a second here. It goes, it likes reading books by the fireplace. So you go, what does that have to do about the weather? think about it. It's not a real AI. It would have been nice if it actually, yes, because it comes back and says it's the weather. It doesn't look at what you've typed in. It doesn't have a conversation with you. And some of the answers, like for instance, I did how far is it from Madison, Wisconsin to Austin, Texas? And it's not going to give you an answer. It's not going to tell you the mileage. It might. It's possible. Uh, Yubble, nubble, hubble, tubble, gubble, rubble, nubble. So it would have been nicer if this clever bot was clever, but it's more like a mock bot, if you ask me. So, but you can still have a little bit of fun with it. So check it out. Go over to cleverbot.com. And of course, it's a very geeky thing. Did you check this out? Over on Gizmodo, of course, the presidential election now over. Thank goodness for that. We do have a couple things that we have to worry about. This is one of them. It doesn't look like it fully loaded up. Let me reload this page. There we go. Check this out. This is they gave you the election per electoral vote who won which state, which doesn't show you much, but somebody actually broke it down into more of a heat map. And as you can see, the big map on this of the United States is really how people voted. And if we were to actually count by that, we might find that some of these presidencies would have went the other direction. So pretty cool. It's called the Real Political Map of America, and it basically shows us that just because your state votes Democrat every single election doesn't mean that your state is all Democrat. So, want to check it out, go over to gizmodo.com. From there, we're going over to boingboing.net for all you space people out there. If you ever wondered, what would happen if an asteroid actually hit into the Earth? Well, that's what this little program is about. It's called the Asteroid Impact Simulator. And basically, it's going to, you put in some specifics, and it'll tell you a little bit about what type of asteroid, how it hit, how it affect what you're doing, what type of air, what type of dust storm will it raise up, how big the crater would be, so on and so forth. So you could actually take, the size of Texas or whatever they had in Armageddon and the other movie, Deep Impact, and try and figure out what actually would have happened if if it did happen that way. So pretty cool thing. Go over to boingboing.net. Lots of cool stuff. Of course, we got all the links over at the show notes, and you can go there and check it out. If you got any questions, feel free to Twitter me at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine at gmail.com. Going over to our sister site, our friend, she's been doing this Kickstarter thing, and it's amazing. A lot of the stuff that she's been finding has been pretty amazing. And last week we had a lot of people that came to the site, and thank you very much for that. But this one kind of tops it. If you are a Kanye fan, then check this out. You can now be cooler than Kanye with this Kickstarter. It's basically a way to program the glasses that Kanye wears, which is the 80s Venetian blind glasses that apparently have an LED light to them. So the company is focusing on kits, so you can create the basic code so you can do things with the 173 LED lights that are in there. So if you want to check out more, go over to dorkazine.com, of course, the sister site of Geekazine. That is Dorkazine. All right, a couple more articles here, and then we'll get you in your main subject here. If for all you Lego fans out there, if you don't know who Nathan Soya is, you might want to check it out. I know we've shown these pictures before, but this is about the artist itself. This is a full biography about Nathan. And, of course, the Lego where he looks like he's ripping his chest open and all the Legos are falling out. He's a Lego artist, and he talks about his craft. So if you want to check that out, that's over at the WSJ.com, the blogs.wsj.com. Once again, like I said, show notes will get you the link over there. All right, finally, last part of Geek Smack. How would you like to get proposed to? Guys, you want to give your girl a ring. Well, what if they're into Star Wars? That's possible. Girls like Star Wars. So what do? Well, you get them an R2-D2 watch. That's what happened here last December. Apparently, there was a geeky proposal. Paul Mitchell proposed to his well, I guess it's his wife now, and he created this R2D2 watch. And I don't think we have a big picture here. We just have a lot of photos. Here's the ring right here, and of course it looks like R2D2's head, which is pretty cool. It's if you look at it, it's like, oh, that's really cool ring. And then somebody says, no, that's R2D2, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. So it's the R2D2 engagement ring, and there are some pretty cool engagement rings out there. If you've given your girl an engagement ring, I want to know about it. Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine if you've made the R2D2 ring, or you made a TARDIS ring, or you made a Batman ring for your wife or whatever. Of course, geekazine at gmail.com, and you can call the hotline at 608-205-4378. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about it. AMD. They had the fights with Intel 10 years ago. Now, are they on the way out? Is AMD giving up, or are they selling, or are they just trying to figure out where they are? We're going to do that in a minute. We will be right back. This is Geek Smack. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, stop dreaming, start streaming. It's time to get the one, the only, the over the top television set top box that you can use and use a lot. I have, it's amazing how many times that I find out that friends of mine have purchased Roku. And even my brother, I gave him my old Roku. I got the Roku 2 XS, and then I gave him my old Roku, and he's loved it, and he's going, now I want to get two more Roku XSs so we can put them in different rooms in the house. That's like, oh, that's cool. That's not a bad idea. So this is not a device that you buy just for one TV. This is a device you buy for multiple TVs, and with the ability to actually hook up to an HDMI port, or hook up to an older TV through a VCR or something like that, the old RCA plugs. That's what makes this a very versatile system. So you can have the old CRT TV in the garage, and you can hook up a Roku and still watch your favorite shows from Netflix, from Amazon, from Disney, from Hulu Plus, HBO Go, UFC fighting, free apps, paid games, from Angry Birds to Pac-Man to Asteroids. I could go on and on and on and on. Tons of great content through Roku. If you're thinking about cutting your cord, this is the set-top box to think about. And now they have the iPhone iOS device where you can actually turn your iPhone into the remote control for the Roku and make your surfing a lot better. Check it out. Go over to geekazine.com/Roku. Geekazine.com/Roku. Of course, that gives me credit, and I thank you very, very much. Go over there, check it out. Prices start at $49.99, but of course, if you want to play the Angry Birds, it is $99.99. $100 for over-the-top television. Can't go wrong there. So make your wish. Stop dreaming, start streaming over at Roku. All right. Reports arose today that J.P. Morgan was brought into AMD to do a little assessing. Now, it doesn't really mean that AMD is getting a strategy to piece apart and sell the company. It just means that they're in a place they've lost some this last quarter, and they want to figure out where they need to focus on. And but some are pretty much doing the march of death, saying, okay, AMD's done, time to move on. Bye bye AMD. I don't know. Do you remember 10 years ago, the days of the AMD versus Intel wars? It's like Intel came out with a 2 gigahertz processor, and the AMD came out with a 2.001 processor, and then Intel came out with a 2.002 processor or whatever. It's just a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And of course, you watched as your processor, you pretty much got a brand new processor, and within 3 days, it was completely obsolete. And of course, if it wasn't for that push, that fight between the two, we probably wouldn't have multiple core machines. We might still be living in Pentium 4 land, possibly. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. But AMD definitely has put the fight and given the competition back to Intel. And there are a lot of companies that are processors. You have ARM, you have Intel, you have AMD, you have Snapdragon. There's a lot of different types of processors out there. Now, AMD has told the Wall Street Journal that it's not looking to sell at all, but it's definitely looking to trim some fat. J.P. Morgan is just basically like a Bob and Bob from Initech trying to figure out which staff needs to go so they can start their own jump to conclusion mat. I don't know. There's no reason for AMD to actually jump any type of ship right now. It's not like people are not buying AMD computers. But on the same thing, AMD needs to assess where people are buying technology at, whether it be a computer, a laptop. Will people buy laptops in 5-10 years? Or will they buy tablets and smartphones? Will they buy the next big thing that we haven't thought of yet? AMD needs to figure out where the direction is going so they can be part of that direction. So they can create their own tablet. So they can be in different devices. Like Intel's in this Mac and this PC right here. My desktop actually is an AMD machine. Where does AMD go? And actually, let's think about it for kicks and giggles. Let's just say that AMD they're just going to sell. They're playing the field, and J.P. Morgan's coming to assess them. Who do you think would buy them? Who would actually be best in owning AMD? Maybe a PC creator like Lenovo or something like that really wants to get into the market a little bit more, create a server chip and of course a desktop chip. They get ATI, which is a graphics chip with AMD. Oh, so that's a possibility. What if Apple decided to scoop up AMD? Could that change the game? I mean, we talked about it last week that Apple could be taking the Intel processor out of the MacBook Pro. What if they decided to buy AMD and then put in an AMD processor into here? That would be a big game changer, and a lot of minds will be totally blown if that does happen. Right now, I don't think AMD is going anywhere anytime soon. I think they need to refocus where they're going and get a mobile device out there that people will notice and say, "Hey, this is the mobile device. This is the competition of the iPad and the Kindle Fire and the Microsoft Surface." I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that AMD is on a sinking ship, or do they just need to refocus, or whatnot, or do they need to sell to somebody like Lenovo or Apple? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine, of course. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, and the hotline being 608-205-4378. All right, we went a little bit long, so I'm going to get you out here short. I'm going to smack you out here. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Next week, like I said, we're going to have, I don't know if we're going to have an episode yet, but if we don't, you guys have a safe holiday weekend, and hopefully that Black Friday will not smack the heck out of you. And, of course, you got Cyber Money. But we will be back when it will be another Geek Smack. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching, and you guys geek out. Take care.